The old atrium, which many of you may remember, although it was revolutionary at the time, had lost much of its coherence and meaning. We wanted to create a dynamic new central space that drew out the life stories of these objects to release the energy and intrigue that each one of them holds for us. We saw the objects as speaking out loud about their role in history, instead of the silence that existed before. For us, the central feature of the new space would be a series of conversations between these objects. The atrium will become a parliament of things, with each one declaiming its significance in history. The result is not a traditional didactic gallery, but a series of highlights, of snapshots, of insights into the vast subject of global conflict since 1914. Moving through the new atrium spaces is not like reading a book. The story has no clear beginning, middle and end. Instead, it is more like turning the pages of a family photograph album. Summer holidays are followed by birthdays, and then Christmas. Each is a separate episode, but together they form a single story. Like our clusters, there is an internal dynamic between them, created by their arrangement and through the memories and associations that they inspire. But the meaning of every single one is different for all of us. Working briefly through the 4 levels, as you descend the stairs, as you've all done, and enter level 0, where you're now standing, you see 4 key objects positioned on the floor. They include the iconic Neri gun, which you'll see a field gun positioned in the centre of this floor, showing battle damage from the 1st of September 1914, and reflecting the bravery of its 3 Victoria Cross recipients, and also its adoption by the IWM from 1920 as a key object of remembrance. Above them are suspended 2 German revenge weapons, the V-1 Doodlebug and the V-2 rocket, and 2 British aircraft, a Mark I Spitfire with its rich Battle of Britain history, and a GR-9 Harrier, which saw service with the RAF both in Kosovo and twice in Afghanistan. The museum's story in the new building now climbs up and around it, progressing through time and the scope of our remit. Level 0 is embraced by the First World War gallery, running from 1900 to 1929. Above this, Level 1 covers the years surrounding the Second World War. Called Turning Points, its clusters highlight 8 key moments of that war. They encompass both personal objects, like the trunk, filled by Leonard and Clara Voll, as they tried to leave Germany, only to have their departure stopped by the outbreak of war in 1939, and which led to their deaths in Auschwitz in 1943. But also larger pieces, like the cockpit section of the Australian crewed Lancaster bomber from 467 Squadron that flew 49 operations over Europe. Moving up, echoing the words of the United Nations Charter, Level 2 is titled Peace and Security. It examines more discursively the long, complex history of war since 1945. Many of the subjects that it covers are still unresolved. Northern Ireland, the Falklands, Korea, Cyprus, Iraq and Afghanistan. As a result, we've used a number of artworks to provoke and raise questions about how and why these things have happened. Objects again range from the original casing of the little boy atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in August 1945 to a Noah's Ark toy made by a soldier on active service towards the end of the Second World War for his daughter far away. Like Noah, he too longed for the time when the floods would subside and he and his family could all be together again in peace. Finally, on Level 3, among the art galleries, are the curiosities of war. In the spaces created by the new architectural fins, objects have been placed, sometimes individually, sometimes in pairs, to reflect the unexpected and often unrecognised aspects of our remit. There is often danger and fear in silence. In the First World War, the wooden trumpets of sound locators listened intently into the darkness for the sound of approaching bombs. In 2002, radical artist and musician Bill Drummond wanted to protest against the declared war on terror. He advocated a day of silence as a protest. Communication could be carried out by printed cards from a game that he'd invented called Silent Protest. The link through these objects is the nuances of silence. The new atrium is intended to be a place of provocation and contemplation, raising issues of morality, motivation and character, as much as traditional history. It works through the conversations we have tried to set up between the objects. It is a new and, we hope, innovative space that will engage and intrigue.